That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
There's always just that active and defenders, I think, like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. As the big man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. As we all know, I can't imagine you don't, whether you're an Arsenal fan, a Tottenham fan. It's the North London derby on Sunday. I'm going behind enemy lines. I've got a Spurs fan with me. Allow me to let him introduce himself, because who better to speak than the horse himself? Appreciate you for tuning in, my dude. Appreciate you for doing this collaboration with me. Yeah, man, let the people them know where you are and who you are and whatnot.
Perchy over at the Perchy TV. Yeah, Spurs content and all football content, really. I like,
unfortunately,
in general. So yeah, of course, mate. You excited for the game on Sunday, or are you a bit nervous? Talk to me.
I'm everything, my guy, man. I'm everything. I think I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm confident. I'm the opposite of confident. I'm simply put, I'm ready for war. In it is if there's two fixtures, I'm pretty sure your fan base and my fan base, regardless of what both clubs do, one game they don't want to lose and they would love to get both points, like 6 points, like us last year, is this, man. So yeah, man, let's crack on straight into it. Before we get into the nitty gritty, what have you made? What have you made of your new manager so far? Because I'm sure, unfortunately, as football is, you know, people looked at him. He's the Celtic gaffer. Is he good enough to get Spurs to where they want to go? What can he do? What have you made of him tactically, as a person, all of that sort of stuff?
Ange Postecoglou is everything that I want in a manager. And I'll be honest, like, I was one of those that was very excited to have him in as manager, right? And a lot of people didn't know. So they're like, all this. And I said, no, do you know what? Do a bit of research on this guy. And trust me, he's everything that we want as a manager. Says it how it is. No messing about. No hidden messages in press conferences. We're here to win. We're here to play good football. Plays the right style of football that we all want to see. And none of this sort of hidden, as I said, like hidden messages, not having meltdowns in press conferences. It's if he does something wrong, he goes, I messed up today. Or if he does something right, he goes, listen, this is how I want these boys to play. I'll get these players playing football. Give me the opportunity and I'll do it. And it's the last thing for it is, I felt with the last few managers that we've had, they were here doing us a favour. This guy's here because he wants to be here and he feels like this is the opportunity that he deserves, right?
I'm with you with that. Do you feel like there's similarities, obviously not in the manager, but between Mikel Arteta and obviously Postecoglou? Because we kind of got Emre, fairly big name in football, and it didn't quite work out. Not to disrespect anything he's done at Celtic or previously, but he's not hardly a household name. As you kind of alluded to, you mentioned, you know, bigger names acting like they're doing you a favor. I assume that's Conte and Jose Mourinho. It appears like a match made in heaven, really, because quote unquote, you could argue Spurs are doing him a favor. It gives him a platform to try and help Spurs get back into the Champions League, etc., etc. So, yeah, man. Like, how do you think it ties into, you know, the Levy model or the ENIC group? I believe it's called model as well.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a big fan of ENIC or Daniel Levy. I don't think that is very hard for me to imagine. But what I did say when this guy came in, I went, well, you've got a manager now that won't be looking for players up here. They'll be looking for players down here that he can mold into it. And you go, do you know what? That's if done right with the way the business model is at Tottenham and the way that we buy players, it could work, right? It could. Touch wood with what 6 games into it at the moment, so before we get really carried away. But you look at what he's doing. He's already, you can see the philosophy, the ethos. I think he talks a massive amount about the academy, something that we've neglected for the last decade. We're starting to do the right things. Our academy is winning trophies now. Our academies are winning at every age level. They're competing at the right level. I mean, our academy just went and won 5-0 the other day against Colchester United. Different levels, of course, but they're beating fully fledged teams, right? These are kids doing well. So it leaves us in good stead. Listen, it's early days. I'm not one of these that starts jumping up and down over 5 games. I feel like I'm as realistic as I can be when it comes to that. But what I want is the process. Arsenal, it's very intuitive with what Arsenal have been like. under Arteta, we're at the early stages of it, where we still got to go and
He's
get rid
literally
of
just walked through the
four
door, yeah.
or five players we still need to get rid of. I mean, including the ton that are out on loan that we still can't get off our books. Arsenal had this issue under Arteta. Aubameyang, the Lacazettes. Do you know what I mean? So
Socrates, we'll be here all day, mate, if I listed all of them. But you're bang on the money with that.
Spurs are in that process right now. And Spurs, as I keep trying to say to them, it's going to take time. It doesn't happen over one transfer window. I said, with the mess that we've had with previous neglect when it's signing players badly, and Ndombele's just don't fit the ethos of the football club, wrong personalities, and the players like he's just an example. I mean, I can count 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on my hand. But the problem is those sort of players are sitting there going, I'm on 200 grand a week. I'm going
and
nowhere.
I'm in London. I'm not really bothered.
I'm in London. I'll turn up for training. You lot figure it out. The agents are telling these players, going, we're not going to get 200 grand a week for you anywhere else. So sit tight. Make them make a decision. Spurs have to sit there and go, do we tear his contract up? Do we pay the majority of his wages and send him out on loan for another season? That's what's happening, right? But these contracts are going to start running out in 2 years' time. So some over next year and the year after. So I said, so it's going to take time, right? Under this manager. And listen, what I'm seeing with him, plays the football I like. And he says it how it is, right? And that's really all I'm asking for as a Spurs fan right now.
As an ignorant, as a fan, as someone that's a football fan but not a Spurs fan, you keep, you keep mentioning the football he plays and things like that. And I'm not watching Spurs week in week out, but I see inverted fullbacks, etc., etc. For an ignorant football fan that hasn't watched a game of Tottenham Hotspur this season under this new manager, how would you describe it? What specifically have you seen in terms of your approach, the football you play, the formations, etc., etc.?
Do you know what it is at the moment for us? Attacking football. I've been sat here and I can't tell you how much I hated watching football under Antonio Conte. I don't care what anyone says. People could call him a serial winner all they like.
That's the quote they like to hide behind.
But I hated it. And I'll say this now. It got to the end of the season where I didn't even watch us play anymore. I was like, do you know what? I have it on in the background, but I'll do the dishes. I'll do my hair. I'll do whatever. Listen, I would do anything I could not to watch us play.
Oh, man.
When we played Brentford, the opening game of the season, I said to a few of them, like Sava and a few of the lot in the group chats and the Spurs group chats I'm in, I said, it's the first game of football in nearly 2 years I've sat down and watched from the first minute to the last minute. And I went, do you know what? It was just exciting. Like, listen, we're not going to win every game of the season. I'm not sitting here in this some grand delusion that we're going to go and win the league and it's all rainbows and fairies and stuff. I don't believe that. But what I do believe is, at least with this manager, we've got an opportunity to go, do you know what? Listen, we're going to play the best style of football we've seen in a very, very long time. But at least we know we've got an identity again. I think Tottenham have lost an identity for years. Even end of Poch's reign, it wasn't pretty. Yeah, the Champions League run maybe papered over the cracks, but it was awful in the league. We were losing games week in, week out in the league. The Champions League run was amazing, but that was papering over what was awful in the league. Then we thought, we're going to bring in Jose Mourinho. Yeah, great. But then the owner's going to sack him week before we play him in a cup final. Whether or not I thought the football was awful under him, he found a way to get people scoring. But then it's Nuno, then it's Conte. And you go, do you know what? Now we've got a manager that we can all get behind as a fan base, right?
That's right, man. That makes sense. And that's, I think, all football fans need, if I'm completely honest with you. Just some belief, going through every game and the twists and turns and roundabouts that football fans go on. What have you made of post Harry Kane life so far? Because as an Arsenal fan, North London derby, he's up there with the people who like to spoil our days. Let's hope you don't get a penalty. So far, so good, man. I'm not going to say you don't miss Harry Kane, because that's 30 league goals and he's obviously a quality player, but it could be a lot worse. Like, what's post Harry Kane life been like so far?
Seamless. I think that's the best way for it. I think this is the bit where I think with a lot of fans don't get, because I heard it all when Kane was gone. You're going to get relegated without Harry Kane. You're going to you guys are going to lose games week in, week out without Harry Kane. I went, no, we're not. I said, with Harry Kane, you go, do you know what? With Harry Kane, you go, wow, he's a 30 goal a season striker, right? You would have that any day of the week. The difference is now what we're doing is we've broken those 30 goals apart. Very similar to what Arsenal have started doing. Arsenal have been brilliant at it now. Is Arsenal haven't gone and got a 30 goal a season striker. What they've got is they've got three attackers that get between 15 and 20 goals. Martinelli's, Saka's, Jesus, Odegaard will chip in with 10 or so goals. So what you've got there, that's just 4 of them. You're getting goals from midfield, centre half and stuff. Spurs are doing that right. How many goal scorers have Spurs had since the start of the season? Do you know?
That's interesting.
5 games. No, just chuck a number up what you think it is, and I'll tell you.
It's difficult. I don't know, man. I actually don't know. I don't know, really. You put me on the spot. I don't know, man.
7.
Do you know what? Truthfully, I was going to say 5, but I felt a bit nervous. I can't lie.
No. But it kind of draws into what I'm on about. We've got 7 goal scorers already this season that have scored at least 1 goal. Now what you're looking at is just seeing goals are coming in from all angles. Maddison's been an absolute revelation. You look at the likes of Kulusevski's chipping in with a couple of goals already. Richarlison's got a couple of goals. Stun's got a hat-trick already. Then you're seeing Romero's got a couple. Emerson Royale's getting goals. So the point of the matter is that goals are going to come with Tottenham across the pond. So when everyone says, oh, but you're going to lose a 30 goal a season striker, I said, I'm not worried about it. Everyone was panicking. I said, because do you know what? The way we're playing football now is we're not going to get a 30 goal a season striker. But what we're going to have is we're going to have 3 or 4 with 15. So then you see there's the goals. Where else are they all coming from?
Who would be the 3 and 4 you put into that if they were to get, let's assume, 10 to 15? Obviously, Son's one.
I think Son's going to get. I think Son's going to get anything up to about 20. I think this season. I think he will get, once he's firing again, he'll get 20. If I say over 10, I think there'll be 4 that probably will get 10. So obviously, some will get Kulusevski, Maddison. And the last one, maybe Richarlison. I'm not sure. I would guarantee 3. Would say.
What have you made of Richarlison? That's an interesting name, you know. I actually ain't got any questions on him. But on the topic of Richarlison, obviously he's been going through it mentally. What have you made of Richarlison? Because in Kane's absence, I agree with you. Other players have to step up, whether it's the performance or scoring goals. Son's obviously the captain now. You'd imagine on paper, Richarlison's going to get a lot more game time. So, like, what have you made of Richarlison up until this point in his first shirt?
Oh, well, do you know what? Richarlison's a weird one for me. I don't think he's good enough. I say it with chest. I don't think he's a good enough player at the moment. But give him where his credit's due. He comes off the bench and he goes and nags steals it for us against Sheffield United. So you've got to say credit where credit's due. I think Richarlison doesn't really suit this system. But what he does do is when you need a goal, you can throw him on there and start
going direct and acting like he's a battering ram.
Launch it into the box. He'll hold up the play up there. And it will allow the likes of a Johnson, Solomon, Kulusevski to start getting into the game. Maddison again, right? I think we've had a big blow, obviously, now that we've lost Perisic. I think that's a huge blow. Now he's out.
Got an ACL or something, isn't it?
Yeah, ACL.
It's crazy how much that's happening in football. Every left, right, and centre, everywhere.
Everyone seems to be getting a bit. But the problem is, at 34, right? It's a player that you go, do you know what? He's out of contract at the end of the season. He won't be back until March, April time. A player that want to go to the Euros in the summer will go, do you know what? If I just stay a little bit more injured, I don't want to niggle that. And I think I said it to a few of them. I think he's played his last game for Tottenham. I don't see
probably has, because just by looking at it, if he's out for an ACL, that could be however long, really. And like you said, if he gets back ahead of schedule, you probably will try and get some minutes for Spurs, but you're probably not going to really want to put your body on the line because you want to play at the Euros. Apologies.
And he'll probably retire from international.
This is it. Maybe, you know what? Is that even that? Retire from international football. That's your last tournament. And it does affect your move because you was arguably, regardless of age, playing for a quote unquote new contract at Spurs. What have you made of your summer business so far? Well, I say so far, all in all, really. You got Brennan Johnson, Maddison again. As much as I don't really want to praise Spurs players, we all knew he was a player before at Leicester, and he's definitely a baller for Spurs right now. And he's a quality sign. He's not quite Martin Odegaard, but yeah, man, what you made of your stuff this year?
Oh, we start the Odegaard Maddison
You
debate.
can't
We'll
look
see
at
on
you can't
Sunday.
big up Maddison, but you can't say his footballing IQ is anywhere near Odegaard's, man. I
Oh
love
no,
Maddison.
sorry.
Come
I
on,
have
man.
to disagree. I think
Come on,
Maddison, I tell you what.
bro. D, come on.
This is
Come
a
on.
football player. No, listen.
He's an absolute baller, but across 90 minutes, Maddison, I'm convinced. I'm not even trying to speak with an Arsenal chest. I'm pretty sure if you ask Maddison, he will tell you Odegaard's better than him.
No,
both better
I
than
don't
Bruno. We can compromise on that.
With chest, he'll say, "Nah, do you know what? I'm the man." And do you know what? This is listen. The debate's the debate, but
it's a fantastic debate, really, man. I'm sure you'd have Odegaard. I'd definitely have Maddison. It's a great debate.
Oh no. Listen, if I had the opportunity to have them, not to swap one, but if I was to have Odegaard's an amazing football player, by the way. This isn't me going, I think Odegaard's rubbish.
No, of course not. That's why you're on the channel, because you speak sense, mate.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But listen, I think the one thing with what Maddison's done is he's not just the footballing side. There's a different side that I'm really, really excited.
He's got a lovely attitude as well. If I'm honest, he's got a swagger.
His attitude, his confidence. Tell you what, there's a reason why a player like that comes into the football club, and in the space of 2 weeks, he's vice captain. Says a lot about the man, right? When your manager's walked in and gone, do you know what? This kid's walked in and we love his attitude. You're our number 2 with the armband. He's given it to Romero as well as an equal number 2. So you've got 3 leaders. And I like what they've done with that, by the way.
Becoming more of a leadership group now, really, than just a
vice. What he's done there is he's picked one from every area of the pitch, right? And I thought that was quite clever.
A good point.
He's a centre-half, a midfielder, and an attacker. Sensible by putting that. Leaders on the pitch in certain areas. But just to sort of go on to what Maddison's done, just to sort of go back to that, was what I love the most is he's come in and he's gone, do you know what? When Harry's gone, because they knew he was going, all this nonsense.
Yeah, they can't have known he was staying at the club.
Well, the manager came out and said it. The manager came out and said, he said, Harry came to me and said, I want a new challenge. And I said, fair enough. That's you have every right.
Yeah, you have it. I don't think anyone's surprised.
So the manager knew it straight away. But what I liked what Maddison done was he could have easily gone, do you know what? I'm going to take another number, because that number 10 is big at Tottenham right now. A legend is walking out of the football club. He's gone, no. I'm taking that number 10 because I'll be the next legend at this club. And I kind of like that. You've seen it from other players before. If you remember, going way back, I don't know if you remember when Antonio Valencia went to Man United.
Yeah,
just after they got rid of Ronaldo.
Got the number 7 shirt.
They gave him the number 7. And a year after, he went, I can't have that number 7. It's too heavy for me. I'll have my 25 back.
Scary.
And I'm not suggesting it's in that sort of level, but it just shows the confidence of a player to come in and go, do you know what? I'm taking the best player. Once he walks out, I'm taking his number. I know everyone will go, oh, it's just a number, but it's the confidence, right? You could easily go.
The weight that comes with the shirt, essentially.
Of course, but he's come in and gone, do you know what? I'm the man. 4 games played, 4 goal contributions.
Yeah, Maddison will get numbers, man. In this day and age as well, it's vital.
I do as well. I think he gets 30 goal contributions a season. Not sure what the mix is. I think he gets around about 10 or 12 goals, anything between 20 or 18 to 20 assists. And I think that's not me being over the top. The way he's playing at the moment, can't see why he can't do it.
That makes sense, man. What have you made of the other business? Obviously, some Spurs fans, would have been surprised with Brennan Johnson for 50-odd million quid.
Brennan Johnson's a weird one. I think the Brennan Johnson one was our own fault. We boxed ourselves in, right? I think we've got such an issue with homegrown players that it's boxed us in. There's a reason why we've registered 5 goalkeepers. Out of 25-man squad, 5 of them are goalkeepers, because we've got such an issue, right? We've got, listen, this is our 8 players that we've registered for a homegrown quota. And let me tell you our problem. So we've got Maddison and Johnson, 2 new signings. We've then brought in, we've obviously got Oliver Skip, Ryan Sessegnon, that's 4. Then you've got Ben Davis, that's 5. Fraser Forster, Alfie Whiteman. Then we've got the other goalkeeper, Brandon Austin. And I think that's all of them, right? And that's the 8. Was that 8? I think I said 8 there.
I think he
that
had
was all
7,
of
you
them.
know. I don't know. I think he said
Was that
7.
7? I must be missing one off, but there was. There was
No, man,
another
you're good,
one
man.
I
Everyone will
mentioned.
get the point you're making, though,
Yeah,
regardless
but
of
my
the
point being
specifics.
is you look at all those players, and you could say apart from Maddison, Johnson, and maybe Oliver Skip, apart from that,
Is Tanganga still there? I don't even know.
Tanganga's out on loan.
Oh, yeah, so
him
he's
out.
not.
He's out on loan in Germany. But my point being is this is the point, right? So out of 8, you could say 3. Most people would probably say 2, but let's just say 3 for it.
3 at a push.
You've got to get 5 players out homegrown and get 5 homegrown players in. That's why we were linked with Brennan Johnson, Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah in the right at the end of the window, because we couldn't buy anyone else because we had such a problem there, and we're going to have that problem in January. The following
You bought
summer.
that guy from Blackburn as well. He's a young man, a teenager, so you don't need to register him. But yeah, it makes sense that he's a point with British players.
Another one. You've just got to go in. He looks like a nice, decent player, by the way.
Decent player.
I've seen him play a few times. He looks really good. But this is our problem right in the future. We're going to have such an issue, but it takes time, right? You keep players on for such long contracts, they're going to sit around, and you've got to
you find yourself where you are now as a consequence of years of not making the best decisions. To go back to what you said, Arsenal, that was us, up until probably last season, really and truly. It doesn't happen overnight, both ways. My last question for you would be, obviously, what's your thoughts going into the North London derby? What's your predictions, and just generally how you feeling about it? Because both teams are undefeated. Arteta's got us playing well. Your new manager's got you playing well. Collectively and individually, players are drawing plaudits. Could go either way, really.
No, I think it can go either way. I think this is the first time. Do you know what? It's the first time in the North London derby I'm not nervous. And when I say not nervous, I'm not on about sitting there that we're going to win or whatever. I'm not nervous because, do you know what? It's the first time I feel like, and touch wood, that we're not going to roll over and get our bellies rubbed. I feel like that's what happened in the last 3 or 4 years. Listen, I'm not afraid to say it. It's true. It's factual. We turn up at your place, do absolutely nothing. You win 2-0, 3-0, whatever it is, and we move on with the day, or we get a consolation goal and it finishes 3-1. This is the first time I look back and go, do you know what, guys? I think it's going to be the best game of football the Premier League has seen all season. And when I say that, I don't mean it for Spurs and Arsenal fans. They're going to sit there and hide behind their sofa when either team attacks, right? For all of the other fans from across the world.
It'll be a fantastic watch for the neutrals. It's probably the only derby that lives up to half anything, really and truly, regardless of where both teams are.
But it's not just that. Both teams play very good football. Both teams are adamant to play good football. You're not going to have Arteta sit there and play pragmatic football all of a sudden. Neither will Ange Postecoglou. So what you've got is 2 very attacking teams that can play very high lines. The midfield's going to be the most crucial part of it. I mean, I feel like we say that all the time whenever there's a game, but it really is. It's the battle between Basuma and Rice is going to be really interesting. What's Havertz going to do if he plays there? Or is it going to be Fabio Vieira in there? Is Sarr going to live up to it? Listen, he's a young kid. Looked bags of potential. James Maddison, Odegaard, which one of them is going to be the one that picks the lock first? There's so many different things. Saka versus Udogie is going to be a battle.
Dan Doggy, guys. Very good.
2 very athletic players against each other can be interesting. You look on the other side, Pedro Porro and maybe Trossard, probably most likely.
I'd assume it's Trossard. Martinelli's got a knock, unless there's a surprise and he's on the. Even if he is fit, you'd argue he'd probably be on the bench, such as the hamstring knock. There's fantastic individual battles, man. I think it personally comes down to, levels of focus. When I look at how you lot made the Sheffield United game difficult, even though you won, we definitely did that against United. It's gonna come down to the level of focus, and I agree with you. The midfield battles crew, but ultimately football's decided in both boxes, and I think it comes down to which defense is more switched on. So yeah, man. My last question for you, actually, before I let you get out of here, man. Score prediction, big man.
I've said it all week. It's going to finish 3-3. I'm sticking by my 3-3
I ain't got the heart for a 6-goal thriller, man.
Man, it's going to finish 3-3. I'll put it on there. And I'm going to also caveat one team. I don't know which one will be 3-1 up in the game as well. And then there'll be a comeback.
Listen, I'd rather come back from behind than bottle the lead like that. I can't lie to you, man.
That's what I mean. I'm not suggesting who's going to be in front at the time or not. I'm not sure. But I think it's going to be a really, really exciting game of football. As I said, this is the game for the neutrals. All the neutrals will be on at 2 o'clock, switched on to Sky Sports watching it, because it is going to be a really, really exciting game of football.
People got their reminders on their Sky TV set already, mate.
Listen, I don't live in England, but I watch it. I watch it here in Spain. I live out in Spain, so it's I'll be watching it definitely I'll be watching it on some channel definitely. But listen, it's gonna be exciting, nerve-wracking, but exciting, right?
Literally, I hope it is exciting, but obviously, naturally, I hope it ends with us with 3 points. For me personally, I'm gonna go with 2-1, man. I don't expect a clean sheet at the Emirates. I know we got one in the Champions League yesterday, but I don't expect a clean sheet. I do expect us to be confident. I do expect us beyond the point to respect you lot, but just come out and play really and truly. We're probably gonna be the bookies' favorite slightly because we're
I
ahead
think
of
you
what
will be,
Arteta's doing.
definitely.
And that's exactly why I want us to play like that, not be overconfident. Just keep doing what we've been doing this season, the good, bad, and obviously improve on the ugly. So we'll have to see. Before I let you get out of it, let people know where they can find you and your channel, obviously.
At the Perchy TV on YouTube, go and check out my stuff. Listen, I would say I'm very unbiased when I talk. I say it how it is. And yeah, guys, listen, go over there, check out my stuff. If you want to go and check out me on Instagram, at the Perchy TV on Instagram, I do daily content on there, like just some fun stuff. It's more laid back. So go check it out, guys. Definitely awesome.
Make sure you're following people. Again, by the time this video comes out, all you need to do is just check the description. I know he's a Spurs fan, but he's one of the good ones, man. And may the best team win, my guy. As he said, you know where to find him. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting like buttons and all of that good stuff. One love for your time, my guy. Let me let you get out of here. People, we're out.
There's always just that active red flag, defending.